Hi guys, welcome to Pushing the Boundaries. It's the first one today, so a great thing. We're starting the series that we're doing, and we're going to be talking to Rob ONeill from Morecambe Bay. He's the head of informatics, University Hospitals Morecambe Bay. It's a bit of a mouthful, but that's the official title. And Rob here today, he's award-winning program analytics up there, the northwest of the UK, and particularly around the command centre, which has drawn a lot of not just interest in the UK, but particularly internationally as well, the likes of Canada, Germany, and all over the place. So it'd be great to find out what really drives successful implementations of analytics, and particularly that sort of vision of engaging an audience within the organisation, and really that one vision for a data-driven culture. So that's what we've got in store today. We're going to really get underneath what really makes the blueprint for analytics success. And I think it's time now to push a few boundaries. Welcome Rob to the table. If he's sitting on a table or a chair, I'm not quite sure, but welcome Rob. Welcome to Pushing the Boundaries.
Thank you. Good to be here, Sean.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thank you, Rob, for coming. And firstly, I want to thank you and your colleagues for supporting the COVID-19 fight. Must have been a really challenging time for you at Morecambe Bay. You hear all the stories on the headlines. It's a grim time. What kind of key things have you been doing in your role for the crisis?
Analytics has played a key role in our health system's fight against coronavirus. We're a digitally mature organisation. We've got a strong digital culture, and data flows really at the heart of how we deliver healthcare. So from day zero, we've been centre stage as an analytics team, and we've been working side by side with our tactical teams. We've got tactical control rooms up and running, and we've sort of worked hand in hand with them to support them. I think four key phases for us, Sean. So phase one was, it happened really quickly, as we all know, and there was a real urgent need to analyse what was happening. And I think, particularly locally, we had the sort of feeling that local context would be key. I think, regardless of how accurate some of the national modelling was, within the UK, that was done through Imperial College in the UK. We knew that there would be local differences in how it impacted upon populations, how it impacted upon different health infrastructures, different other support service infrastructures. So it was that was important. I think for us, we're a large geography. We're a rural geography, but we've got some urban areas. We've got particularly large variances in deprivation. So we've got an Asian population. The area receives, it's an area with a national park in it, or two national parks within the Morecambe Bay catchment area. So there's a lot of an influx of tourism, of holiday makers, second homeowners, we knew things would be different. And we also know that Cumbria, as a region, was one of the first areas to be hit in a big way. So the peak happened quicker. And it's also been in the national news. You've probably seen that Barrow-in-Furness, where we've got a hospital, has got one of the highest infection rates in the country. So we had to mobilise quickly in response to that. Next phase, I think we went into production mode. We were able to really support the organisation, the system, by building apps day in, day out. And that's really where we're here to sort of talk about analytics, but also reflecting on your new role. Our ability to write back into apps, was essential during that time. So we really quickly moved into apps being sort of embedded into clinical workflow, capturing additional data that our clinical systems, perhaps didn't capture, and it would take a few weeks to capture up in terms of their configuration. So production mode, then into an out of hospital response. We really quickly developed an out-of-hospital sort of version of our command centre to support the triage of patients within the community. And that was important to help reduce the burden on the acute hospitals, as admissions ramped. And now I think we're into phase 4 now, really, of it's the peak subsiding, but I think we all expect that there will be another peak, and it's really trying to understand how elective care starts to be integrated into the delivery model that's been happening, over the past couple of months. So yeah, a changing picture.
So amazing. So just congratulations for being able to respond so quickly. And I think that for what came across in that conversation was, one, your analytics at the heart of the organisation, but the quick time response to be able to deploy apps to those key business areas. It seems really, really amazing to hear. And that the investment that you've completed in the analytics, from the type of technologies you're using through to your team, your environment that you've set up, and the ambition and vision and the buy-in, I guess, from your top management team, it's kind of put you in a fantastic position to respond so quickly. Did you feel kind of very pleased with your team and how you were able to respond?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're absolutely right, and we've. I guess if I look backwards, I've been in post for just over 6 years, and when I came into post, I had a mandate to turn around the organisation's use of data, and to create an analytics and business intelligence service that gave confidence to our clinical and operational teams and to our board. So yeah, I mean, fast forward to the present, it's really humbling actually that some of the solutions we're developing and using are capturing the imagination of health systems. As you say, it's not just within the UK, but globally, and there's a lot of interest in collaboration. So I think for me, it's having a really clear strategy, and I think being lucky that it's where I work, it's recognised that success breeds success, I think. So we've got the investment. We've got a really fantastic group of individuals working collectively as a team, and we now don't just cover what was traditional business intelligence, but also analytical development, data science, modelling. It feels like we're in a good place, and it is kind of the building blocks upon some really hard and targeted work over the past few years.
Yeah, I can see that, Rob. And I think what struck me when I came to visit you and your command centre was when we were walking down the corridor towards the command centre, and an operational member of staff just popped out from almost nowhere, and you did promise me that they hadn't been set up and they were
not staged,
walked into not staged screaming, but when the absolute glowing kind of enthusiasm and energy for the command center and the work you and your team had done, and I'm a firm believer of where people and technology really need to come together. That point in the middle is where you get the magic happening, and you get shifting cultures and outcomes in the organizations. So hearing that, and then seeing in the command center, on these big touch screens, seeing that kind of people technology interface in motion, and how you built it into kind of the workflow or the governance and processes to help those frontline staff. I was buzzing for a few days. We continue to reflect and share those stories about our own experiences. So tell me a bit more around the command center and that people and technology together, and some of the other type of technology you're using, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, the command center is obviously a great story, and it's been a success. It's it's not just a success internally, and the work internally continues to accelerate. We were speaking with the command center clinical staff yesterday around what's next, and what's next is that I guess, firstly, we're reflecting the COVID situation through it. So it's being used actively to manage COVID positive patients, both within and without of the hospital. But also it's really cutting to driving further action. So Qlik alerting is a big thing for us, and the pull I'm getting from our command center leaders to ramp up the use of alerting to the next level is huge, actually. So watch this space for that. So that's really exciting. It really thinking about driving action through data, being focused. There's a lot we're going to do with that. I think we've deployed the command centre into a Scottish health board, and then also in response to the coronavirus pandemic, it's been deployed through one of our partners into 7 London hospitals, specifically to fight coronavirus. And but we hope that will continue. So I think it's not just us, but other organisations starting to get the value of it. And yeah, I mean, I think it's accumulation of journey. I think when you came to see us, Sean, we sort of described how, as a region, things were and are really difficult. One of the most financially challenged region in terms of healthcare in England. Talked before about a difficult environment to deliver public services within an Asian population, dispersed population, and continued demand. Certainly up until the pandemic hit, and things do look different at the moment, but continued increase in demand for emergency care. And people with really serious long-term health conditions that require a lot of support. And it was, an organisational cry for help that we were able to respond to. And I think, key for me is it was a business solution. We facilitated it, built it, co-designed the solution, but it really was led by the organisation. It fulfilled a need, and it stuck, and it's really gained traction.
That's a really great point, Rob, at the end there around business-led and that engagement point. So those sort of blueprint really for successful analytics and creating a data-driven culture. It's got to be led by the business, working hand in hand, isn't it, with people like yourself and your team. So on that blueprint, what sort of other things do you think are really important for the data-driven culture work?
Yes, I think a number of issues. We talked about business-led, customer-led. I think it's having the courage to go after the really big, difficult, nebulous problems. For me, it's dream big, and create. Be creative in one's approach to solutions. I think as long as the vision and the strategy is really clear, I would sort of say, if we're going to dream big, we need to know where we're going and what we want to achieve. But don't be scared to tackle the things which feel difficult. And I think I've learned focus on incremental delivery. You don't have to deliver everything in a big bang. And I think it's get a solution in. Things don't have to be perfect, but incrementally build. Keep checking in with the users, with the customers, to ensure that we're always delivering. What's fulfilling the need. And requirements change. We need to be aware of that. So I think that's key. I think thirdly, something I would call having really good link or bridge professionals within whatever service we're working within. So for me, that's clinical staff who can be ambassadors for the work we're doing. And that's people who will champion our mission, will help us with the really difficult cultural sort of aspect of buy-in, user engagement, data literacy, continued engagement. So key individuals who will help us overcome hurdles, help with deployment, help with learning. I think listening to the customer, but really listening to understand the requirements, and making sure that whatever we're delivering will really help solve their problem. And I think we've got an obligation as leaders and developers, data scientists, analysts, to think about the interface, the user interface, to think about design, be led by design theory. We put a lot of thought into the command center in terms of the aesthetics and the mechanics of how it works. And I think working with Qlik Sense, for example, we've got a product that has certain there's a framework to work within, but we also then need to think about how will it be used, what we're trying to achieve. Can we ensure that every piece of analytic or visualization that we present has value, has a use, will lead to something happening, will drive an action. So I think design's important, user-centered design.
Rob, can I just cut in there? I just want to build on that point. I love the frictionless design sort of processes you have there, and I was super impressed. And I've led and rolled out Qlik Sense in a big organization, but it never, I'll be honest here, it never had the kind of crisp and cleanness of design which you guys. So I've learned a lot actually from you, Rob. And I'm going to always take that with me, because I think it's so important. When you see your command center, you see how clean and crisp, operationally engaging, but you can get to the detail as well. So I think very commendable, and yes, it sounds simple, but it's so important for certainly when you're talking about the masses, the mainstream people that are doing the work and doing the job, busy jobs, stressful jobs. The last thing they want to do is to struggle with technology, and also just how you've combined your technologies together. So where I see Qlik working, where I see you use the Qlik alerting and the forms built in, so you're kind of like combining these technologies together. And I know you're layering on your predictive side, your data, how you're bringing these things together in a great user experience. I think a lot of people can learn from that, Rob, and your blueprint areas. People should really take those away. But they're not stuff that you necessarily see on a project plan in an organization. But I think they're so important for the heart, the rhythm, and of an organization. So yeah, I'm really pleased you've shared some of those things, and hopefully we'll see a little bit of some of that technology. I could put you on the spot a little bit, but hopefully you'll participate. But have a quick look at that. Before we do that, are there any kind of key lessons where pitfalls in particular people like to hear, "Ooh, that didn't quite go so well, what have you learnt from it?" So any key things where you think, actually take this on board, folks?
I think we sort of talked about it, having ensuring strategy is key. I think being really clear and having a co-consulted, co-designed strategy around data, around analytics, around digital, that is really it needs to be owned by the organization. It can't sort of sit to one side in an ivory tower of data perfection. So I think that's I think it takes time to get that right and to evolve it. What else do we learn? I think
anything went wrong. Anything where you thought, "Oh gosh, I'm not going to do it that way again."
Yeah, I think more generally, we need to stay humble and grounded. I can think of, and I think that's we also need to work with our teams, with our staff, to make sure we work in that way. And I think we could probably all think of really good examples where we think we're developing a fantastic solution to a problem. We possibly in hindsight over engineer things, overthink solutions. And
Yeah.
if I definitely have can think of examples where we seem to stray away from actually what the customer really wanted, and I think there's responsibility on us to always put ourselves in the shoes of the user. And I think you're right. We're talking about within the public sector, people who are professionals and have professional accountability to be legal care, or used to work in the police, police staff, police officers, social services, care workers, and so on. So I think and I guess it goes back to that concept of user-centered design. Really, it's if a solution is not going to work, isn't going to enable someone to do a better job, or to find a different way of doing something, or to understand how they can overcome a problem better, then it's not worth starting on. So yeah, I think that would be my main thing. And I said before, regular check-ins. Don't let's not wait for the great unveil after 3 months of locking ourselves away in a cupboard. If we do that, I think we're going to miss the point of what's needed. Incrementally deliver, and be prepared to change tack.
Yeah, so that agile kind of approach, I think that's really good advice, Rob, and kind of that fail fast approach as well.
Absolutely.
And again, it's easy, isn't it, to get carried away with lovely new features on technology, but they've just got to work, haven't they? They've got to kind of get to the heart of delivering something impactful, game changing for people. So yeah, I can see that. And thinking about that technology, you've been doing some stuff obviously with alerting and forms, and I know you've been doing some operational things, but obviously you can't show us that. But is there anything you can kind of show us around your use with forms and alerting at all, or certainly forms, I guess, with your current stuff, or not?
Yes, absolutely. So we could have a look at a project management app, which we've been developing with the team at Infinity, actually. So we know here in the organisation where I work, there's a lot of project management. I mean, like any large organisation, but also the solutions we've worked within locally have not been great, really, and it's been quite difficult. It's been quite difficult to work with the tools which are embedded within our organisation. So we thought, what a great opportunity. We'll think about how we can modernise sort of a project management tool, build it in Qlik Sense, utilise right back to make it a solution, rather than an analytical tool, but also be able to build in analytics on top of that, put it on into one package.
Oh, that's great, Rob. And I think traditionally project management and the workflow around project management, it's a bit of a dry area, and there's a lot of taking it away from spreadsheets, taking it into the Qlik environment, real-time updating, the management of risk, and alerting, a number of other things around that. It's a bit of a game changer. I always struggled with the kind of sort of clunky bureaucratic processes around projects. So I think I'm going to look forward to seeing a bit of this, and appreciate that you can't show some of the operational areas using forms, but to see some of real stuff of how powerful forms can be, that's brilliant. So if I give you the ball to show your screen, if you're ready, and I'll get you going. And this is kind of live, so if it doesn't quite work out, then well, that's life, isn't it? We'll go again, but let's give it a go.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's have a look. So if you press share your screen, Rob.
Perfect.
Yeah, there we go. I think I can see your screen, Rob. Hopefully you can.
Yep, perfect.
Yeah, and you as well. So talk us through it then, Rob. Just show us some of the key sort of exciting things you're developing here.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Qlik Sense, obviously, so designed to be an all-in-one place, sort of, a sort of turnkey performance management, project management tool. So it's using Qlik Sense with Forms integrated. So the front sheet is really just your sort of admin console. So here you can enter enter a new request for a project. We've got a role-based way of using the app, so you can use it as a sort of someone who would define a project and work on it. We've also got a management section, so a project manager or a director can review projects and choose to either accept them or decline them. There's one of the things we needed to make sure that it was really easy to do was provide a really clean interface for people to update, provide quick updates on projects and provide updates on perhaps project status, risk, any work undertaken. So that's another area. And then finally, using the power of Qlik Sense as an analytical engine to provide some analysis that can be used for reporting to either within the project teams or to within the governance structure to project boards, so on. So I think, Sean, should we sort of walk through the app and set ourselves up with the project and see how it looks?
Yeah, that'd be great, Rob. A couple of minutes showing us some cool stuff would be brilliant.
Right. Okay. So this is the project request screen. So here we're using the Forms write back extension. So this gives people the ability to enter details about the project. So I might decide to enter a new one. So I'm just going to say, let's just have a look.
Basically, it's providing you, whilst you're doing that, it's providing you the ability to use your native Qlik and be able to write. The user can actually write in and store critical information into Qlik.
Absolutely, and I think the key thing for me is, and also to write it back to feed that same data back into the app in real time. So I'll enter it here. So I say project. This is project Sean chat. Here we go. I would say so. This is it's a work project department. We're in IT, so that's fine. The manager, and I'll show you. So that there's a config screen, so that people can customize this. So I'm picking from a group of users we've loaded in. It could be loaded in from Active Directory. Albert Einstein works for us. That's requested by me. Request date. Let's put that today. Expected budget. Well, it's not a huge project. I'm going to say we go for £3,000. I think we'll expect that to start, I don't know, next week, a week today, and we'll probably run that for a few weeks. Yep. Let's go into whenever in July. There we go. So I will just add that and recalculate. So there we go. So that data's that data will be written into the into the app. So I think we'll sort of jump on to just have a look at some of the other sheets and have a look at some of the projects which have already been entered.
Yeah.
Great. So the next sheet is so it's pulling forward. So it's pulling together all of the projects into a view where we can authorize them as a manager, and also some interesting ways of using the visualizations to start looking at the sort of risk severity for the various projects we've got.
Yeah, sorry, that's interesting, Rob. So just so you in terms of the workflow management, you've got your authorization process in there as well. You've got your risk process. So you kind of like, almost sort of bringing in multiple different areas, clunky areas with emails and spreadsheets, and converting it into one sort of seamless flow of workflow, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, and a way, really important for us to sort of have a way of being able to collect our projects which have been requested. So we have sort of like a lot of organizations, a lot of teams, the demand for resource, always outstrips our ability to supply it. So, but we also want to be able to capture, everything the organization's asking for in terms of digital transformation, digital development, analytical projects. So, capturing in one place and have a tool to be able to triage them, and I guess assign a sort of delivery order. It also allows us to be able to take a tool to our governance group. So we have a high-level board, which comprises of clinical and operational leaders, and we can then give them the list of projects and say, as a business, you tell us what you want us to prioritize, so we use that this page for that. Next tab is the update tab. So this is the this is one where our project managers, project team will be able to provide updates on what is happening. So I'll just pick on the project title, project Y, for instance. Here we go. And within here, this gives me the ability to look at what's happening. I can do things like update the level of importance. We might have had a request that this the governance group, the board, may have decided that this is top priority for us. So I'm going to give it 5 stars. I can also say that we've commenced it. If I want to, really interesting feature. We've got the ability to upload documentation into the app, and that's again sort of thinking of
business cases.
Business cases, and you and I have talked about the sort of evolution of analytics, away from the concept of dashboards, analysis into solutions, and sort of holistic solutions that are providing a means for people to work through them. So upload a business case, or perhaps upload some supporting documentation, perhaps a supplier specification, or the results of perhaps of a user group that's working on the project is really powerful.
So it's all self-contained. So basically, it's got everything from loading that critical documentation into it, the authorization, looking at importance. So being able to elevate things, and then alerts. I guess you could throw out some alerts to if it's critical risk, throw an alert out to the organisation or an individual based on the criteria you set. That's a hugely transformational kind of thing around the project management suite, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I think so. And I think we touched on it before, thinking about driving action, influencing behaviour of an organisation is the concept of integrating alerting into this space. Using mobile analytics to do that as well is really transformational. Actually, it's driving people to make decisions, driving people to do things. We can do it all from within one place.
So you've got your Qlik deployed on mobiles, alerting on mobiles.
Alerting on mobiles, and I think again, I guess we can sort of reference back to things like the clinical applications like the command center. Huge potential for alerting people to changes in anything, but clinical changes to a patient's condition, changes to the escalation level within an organisation. So I guess right across public services, we operate in a state of usually elevated escalation levels, and that's really important to in terms of how an organisation can operate. And then in terms of project management, I think absolutely You're right. You picked up on it before. I agree. It could be quite a dry area, and the biggest barrier to the tools that we've used internally before are, none of us use them, and if none of us use them, then they're worthless, arguably. But to be able to move to a lighter-weight solution that's that will tell me, will push a message to my phone saying, project X has been updated. Please take a look. Here's the URL. Jump into it. Or alert saying, it's the project board tomorrow. Rob, you need to update your action, otherwise you'll get a grilling from the director of finance. I think culturally that'll be really change the way we work.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Rob. And I think having that kind of real-time updating and all contained within one place is certainly the way forward. And I guess using it for project management, that kind of like workflow for that, the part of the assurance of the organisation. I guess you can probably thinking about it, but ideas around how you can apply it to all my audit inspection activity, or my budget control, or my so that technology combination around the assurance of the organisation, you can completely transform how an organisation sees, looks, works with, feels, etc. Can't you? It's a good opportunity. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think the interesting. Just while we're doing this, I'm just entering some details for this project. Now I'll sort of flick on to an overview page. I think if you take that concept, you've talked about how do we look at the big, I guess any organisation, what's the biggest cost? It's workforce, it's staff. So looking at some of those big administration tasks you were talking about, so we know there's huge costs attached to them in terms of workforce. We know in terms of the public sector, we need to deliver services more efficiently. We want to divert spend to frontline care and to citizen health, population health in terms of healthcare. So let's look at where we can deliver efficiencies in terms of process, and then I think that the logical next stage is to take what we're doing here, using Writeback and using alerting. I think about how we can use RPA to then start fully automating processes, integrate that within the sort of whole solution focus of Writeback analytics, alerting. It's a lot of potential.
Yeah, so sounds like we've got some potential for another chat, Rob, at some point. And thank you for showing all that great stuff and put you on the spot a bit there. But great to see, and I think hopefully from our conversation there, a lot of our viewers will begin to think, actually, how can we do something different in our organisation? How can we build this into our sort of strategy? And I think that's what you're incredibly good at, Rob, is seeing what the potential of the technology is, combining it with your existing infrastructure, your suite, your people, your processes, and making a big difference. So great to see. And I know from the chats we've had the impact, how you've been using this for some of your operational stuff as well. And maybe when it's all over in the world, we can have a bit more of an insight on that. But thank you so much. And I think just to probably need to come to an end so you can actually get on and save a few more people with your analytics, Rob. But I think just to say that you're a huge advocate for Morecambe Bay, and a huge advocate for all those patients and the population, the public, for the work you do, really pushing those boundaries. I think really want to say how amazing it is that you're sharing and collaborating this kind of stuff. And I know you do it, you're technology agnostic in lots of ways. If it's great stuff, you're investing in different things. The fact that you want to share and push the NHS on and be part of this whole kind of movement around pushing things forward with analytics and the impact it makes. I know you have a passion for that, and so I want to say thank you on behalf of myself, Infinity, and everyone who's watching. Really, Rob, is there anything that anyone would say at the end, or is there anything else any messages you want to give to people apart from stay home or stay alert, stay home, what have you?
I mean, I think something we've talked about, Sean, is the power of collaboration and the sort of creative benefits of us not being siloed in what we do. So yeah, I mean, I think let's I really hope people found this useful, and if people can take away something which inspires them to try something new within their organisation, then brilliant. I think that's a win, and perhaps it'll lead on to some more collaboration conversations, as you say, following this.
Yeah, it's great, and loving to see what's coming next. So thank you again, Rob, and I hope you have a good rest of the week. And I think you might be on annual leave next week. Is that right?
Absolutely, it's a good forecast. Yeah,
enjoy that. Enjoy the sun, hopefully, and be in contact. Speak soon, and always enjoy chatting with you and seeing some cool things in action. So thanks again. I'm going to stop the recording now. So here we go. Goodbye.
Sean.